Is underway. This Headington crew, national schools gold medalists, so they are racing upper category. They are a junior crew, but will be looking to win the Diamond Jubilee in a couple of weeks' time. But it looks like they might have met their match.
Yeah, my goodness, the Oxford Brooks have really taken on. They're just pulling clear now. Oxford Brooks, they compass up commentary position just before halfway. As you say, rating. They're rowing in a senior, juniors rowing in a senior category.
Brave.
And it looks, that as you'd expect, the Headington school crew absolutely immaculate.
I think
but they are, it's in terms of power. The Oxford Brooks quad looking pretty immaculate as well. So it's a fantastic semi-final there.
I think Headington were just winding it up as they came past us. You could see their bodies going right back towards the end of the stroke. It doesn't look like it's had too much of an effect on the Brooks crew because they are, I think immaculate is exactly the word I would use. They're imperious as they come down the course, and I think Headington might well finally come unstuck because they could have raced junior this weekend and probably swept all before them, but they've chosen to step up and they've chosen to ratchet up their preparations ahead of the Diamond Jubilee in a couple of weeks' time. But Brooks once again demonstrating that they are the creme de la creme of student rowing.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. A little look across there.
I mean, they won the national schools by about 10 seconds, Headington. So I suppose Ryan, who heads up their programme, must have thought, well, we'll probably win the junior quads again by similar margin, so why don't we compete with a step up from there?
Winners of the junior 8s in 2016 and go for that again, and so they've got so much kind of depth in there pushing them through. We were talking about juniors coming through the club system, but still some of the schools really fantastic in building girls rowing.
Absolutely. I think race 330 has just left the state boats.
Yep.
Which is the second semi-final of the senior quads between Tideway Scudder School on the left-hand side of your pitch at the Berkshire Station and Edinburgh University, a name that is getting all the more common as we go towards the business end of this regatta.
A lot, haven't we? They've done really well. They've got a lot of crews through and scullers through.
Well, Headington, if we look up on the right side of our screen, we look down for 10 seconds and all of a sudden everything kicks off. Looks like Headington have rowed through Oxford Brooks.
Well, we said both crews looked immaculate. Oxford Brooks looked like they had more of a powerful stroke, but this Headington crew.
What a scout this would be if Headington can pull this off.
Okay, well, I'm glad you you were here this time. I wrote a single off who came through and won, and we're just, like I said, I'd never do that again.
It's never over till it's over. I heard you say that.
Goodness, look at that.
That's impressive from Headington, I have to say. For a schoolgirl crew, that is so mature.
This is what I was saying before. They'll be doing exams. They're in the middle of everything. They're cramming this in. They will have, some of them will be doing GCSEs. They'll be fitting this all in. They've gone now. They were a length down, and they go through they almost got a length clear in the finish.
2 lengths in the space of 500 metres.
Fantastic.
Incredible,
so we were saying, I think you were saying something about taking a bit of a gamble moving
I
up there.
was busy writing them off. And
I think you said, we like to. Let's just not do that again.
No.
Should we just not
Good
do
idea.
that again?
Good idea.
So let's
Headington
not
through.
do that again.
Let's see you enjoying them.
It's always tempting because we've always got 2 races in the course, and you want to kind of know what's going on. And we're certainly not racing either of these crews off either, because we have got a very tight race here going on between Tideway Scullers School and Edinburgh University. And as you said, Edinburgh University really pulled themselves up in terms of putting we've got several crews through into the semi-finals. Edinburgh University just taking the advantage there as they come past us.
John, as they shot the barrier there, it's almost impossible to tell any distance between the 2 crews. They're neck and neck. I think we were doing them injustice by focusing on Headington, because actually this is arguably the better of the 2 races.
Yeah, and the just the transformation in university rowing. I mean, it used to be university rowing, really. The thought that you might have a quad of this level out of university, that wasn't kind of, what you did at university was learn to row, really. And now you've got so much depth that you've got the 8s, them putting out 8s and 4s and really good pairs. and scullers, and you're able to put out a quad, and they've got both the boats for it, and the coaching for it, and the athletes for it. Tideway Scullers, of course, you'd expect to be putting out good, fantastic quads. They've been doing that for a while, and
Well, when you've got Scullers School in your name, you're
yeah,
setting yourself
exactly.
up.
You kind of expect it.
You're right about the student rowing. It's incredible. Some of the athletes that certainly Brooks and Edinburgh and Newcastle produce. I mean, Brooks yesterday at the Marlow Regatta won Elite Eights, and I think they were second as well, which is just amazing. Ahead of Thames, ahead of UL, ahead of some really established crews. So I mean, right across the board, student rowing is growing and growing. And actually, the student rowers in this country are arguably right up there with the top club athletes. Albeit on this occasion, Tideway Scullers seem to be establishing control.
Establishing control. Let's just say they're establishing control at this point.
No more.
So Tideway Scullers are they've I mean, both having to maintain. It's still a fight. We've got Tideway Scullers at 35, Edinburgh University 36, trying to get back on track there. Again, very sharp. So it's interesting to now look at these compared to the LEH, the Headington School quad that we just saw.
It's a little bit more chunky, both of these rhythms, aren't they? Headington was a bit more slick, a bit more finessed, and these two seem to be, I mean, no less effective, but seem to be pulling at it a bit more. If you look at the way they swing through with the backs.
They've got a bit of a longer stroke. They would push that away a bit.
It certainly seems, commentators' curves of course will come into play, but it certainly seems like Tideway Scullers have got clear water now, and you'd expect them to. Actually, there's been no sign of any deviance on their station. They haven't seemed to be misbehaving at all. Quite a composed performance from these girls, so I think. I don't even want to say it.
Beautiful bit of sculling, but well, they've crossed the finish now. So what do you reckon? You're fairly safe to
just
say?
About,
fairly
just
safe
about
to
now
call that
say
one.
that Scullers were victors in that.
So Scullers go against Tideway Scullers School against Headington School in the final of this, and I'm very excited to be commentating on the boats for the final. So it means I only get to see about 1 in every 6 races, unfortunately. I don't know if you're on for the rest of this, but
I'm not. I'm going home at 1 o'clock. But
you can watch them all. You can critique somebody else's web commentary at that point.
Exactly. Well, we get to go back up to the start though for race 331, which is the first semi-final of the Elite Eight. So this is the flagship event of the weekend, the blue ribboned to coin a phrase, and it is Northeastern University, their Varsity 8 on the Berkshire station against an under-23 composite. Now, there's too many clubs to name here, but it's the UL composite, and it's made up of under-23 trialists hoping to gain selection for this summer's World Championships, under-23 World Championships. So, 2 pretty stacked crews, and the crew from Northeastern are the Varsity 8, who won the Colonial Athletic Association Championships this year and finished second at the Eastern Sprints. So, 2 crews with lots and lots of pedigree here.
So Elite Eights,
just
straight through into the semi-final. I mean, we've only got, not surprisingly, we've got just 4 crews entered in the Elite Eight event. I mean, great to get 4 crews of this standard. And the Ron Needs Challenge Cup. Sorry, you were about to say, Tom?
No, you're absolutely. I was just saying the point that you made about student rowing earlier. Both of these crews are student crews, and they're in the Premier 8s event. So it just gives you a clue as to how strong student rowing is right across the board, not just here in the UK, but also across the pond in America. And it's great to see Northeastern make the trip, but looks like they've got their work cut out against this UL composite. I saw them out paddling this morning, and I have to say they look very slick.
We can see all the colours of the all-in-ones are coming past. It looks like 4 UL are the dominant. That's why they've got the UL composite. Marlow Rowing Club represented there. Stroke seat.
Awesome, isn't it? The power of the 8s as they come past. There's nothing quite like the energy. The 2 8s moving down the course, moving down the track.
The Northeastern crews, they've also got, I think they've got 2 8s here. They've got a senior 8 as well, and it's the 40th year of women's rowing at Northeastern. So they're celebrating with their first visit to Women's Henley. So kind of a bit of a shame, really, when you're in the Elite 8 event and you've only got 2 potential races anyway, and your first one is against a potential under-23 composite.
Doesn't get much harder than that.
I always feel a bit torn, isn't it, when we get our visitors across, and you so want them to. And we hope that they have a fantastic experience anyway. I mean, how can they not? But it's brilliant that they've come here, and that I always feel so proud of this regatta, you know, that people come and race here. But that UL composite crew,
Out to a length now.
out to a length, harder to turn over a length in an 8 than some of those smaller boats we've been watching earlier in the day.
You do touch on a very good point there, and actually it's difficult when you see a sort of prospective GB crew racing up against someone from the USA or Australia. You do naturally want the international entry to do well because they have made the trip and they have made the effort to support the regatta.
I feel torn, yeah. Of course, you know, you always want the GB crew, but then when you see it, it's like, oh, they've made the effort. They've come all the way across.
You want them to win at least a race.
Or at least, at least be close. So yeah, you'd like it, you know. But the regatta's growing all the time, and so.
We've got crews from China, Australia, all over the
Yeah.
shop this year, so it's a fantastic testament.
So we've got some nice side-by-side rowing, side-by-side pictures of that crew going down there.
I think the UL crew had that race in hand, so we'll move back to the start for race 332, the second of the 2 semi-finals of the Elite Eights, and it's Ohio State University on the Berkshire station. I've already seen a crew from these guys this morning, and Leander Club, so home favourites here on the Buckinghamshire station.
So we've got 3 university crews against the 1 club crew. Just getting a bit of a rating there. The USA crew, 39. It's given them the advantage coming through the island. A bit of a rating coming through the island now, Leander. So they've dropped their, well, they haven't dropped theirs significantly. They're still 37, 38. So the first, you'd expect these 2 8s to have, you know, gone off into the 40s, settling down a little bit past the island into 37, 38, and now they're lengthening out their stroke, and now it's, I always think about, this is the crucial point. You come through 45 seconds. If you're on a marked course, you're coming down into the 300 metre mark, and this is the kind of moment of pain, really, when you. If you were in a proper sprint race, it'd all be over.
Yeah.
But you're in a rowing race, and therefore you kind of have to push through that pain. And it's who's the bravest really in this second minute to hold on to it.
I think Unsworth put it into perspective yesterday. It's the initial adrenaline wears off, and it's who's willing to hold their hand in the fire for longest. And at the moment, Ohio State come up with the answers because they're out to a length as they come past us.
So we said we like to see foreign crew get a good showing.
I have to say, Ohio look a lot more relaxed, a lot more fluid. There's quite a lot of tugging going on in the Leander crew.
I'm afraid I don't know much about the Leander crew, but seeing them coming past us, they look like a pretty much development crew. Leander doing some great things for women's rowing. You know, since it's been a fair while now since the club got that equal status and allowed women in, and they've done quite a lot to develop women's rowing, and that looks like a development crew, even though they're in the Elite Eights. Compared to the slickness of that Ohio crew.
What do you think about Debbie Flood, first female captain of Leander, and she's done so much for women's rowing?
So speaking to Debbie, met up with Debbie, and this is the first year that she hasn't done a racing season for something like 20 years. You know, she retired from international rowing and was still racing. She was still racing here in a double, I think, and potentially a double and a quad, I think, last year. Kept seeing her. So this is the first year that she hasn't raced here, or hasn't raced for some considerable time.
Long overdue sabbatical, I think. Certainly Ohio State seem to have control of this one. They look more relaxed. If you look at them come down the course, you see the swing back together. There's absolutely no drama there, is there? It's in, out. I think they're stretching out, to be totally honest. I think they've got probably a clear margin.
What,
of water.
32, 33 now? Which you'd expect, you know, that's what, in an 8, what you'll settle onto until you're really, really clear. And because they've only got, this is their first race, and they've got another one, you know, it's not like they've raced a lot. You're going to, if it's your first race, you're going to want to race it out. So again, it's always, you know, you've got another race this afternoon, but my coach always used to say, if you've got that first race and you've got one other, then pretty much race it out. You wouldn't do your last 20-stroke sprint.
Stretch the legs.
You just need to, there's something about conserving your energy, but you need to physiologically get into that state and really pushing yourself through, and that's what you